being a woman and going into these rooms and having to have this sports knowledge. Someone will ask me, well, what year was he drafted? And I can answer right off the bat. Well, what college did he go to? I can answer right off the bat. There's a lot of these questions that are a male-dominated world, but I was able to find this space in the sports industry that had a soft emotional spot that I felt like a woman needed to lead.
Hello everyone, and welcome to LATV Latina Exclusive. My name is Yanina Oyarzo, Latina TV host and all-around creative woman who has worn many hats through life. Today I want to give a very warm welcome to a boss lady and my dear friend, Victoria Shahbaz. She is Dominican Cuban American from Miami, Florida, who currently handles the philanthropic endeavors of some of your favorite athletes. Her company, OnDecker, is a full-service agency that bridges the gap between philanthropy and pro athletes through purposeful experiences. From players in the Miami Heat or athletes like Mookie from the Dodgers, Victoria is closing the gaps and making strides that haven't been made before. Thank you so much for joining me, Victoria. This is so different than our normal friendship, which is a lot more playful. But we start off the show with 2 roses and a thorn. So tell us what your 2 roses and a thorn are.
Well, first, thanks for having me.
Of course.
I love to see you in your element. 2 roses and a thorn always set the vibe, right? The standard for the conversation. I'd say 1 rose, I'm so thankful to be a part of a big family. I'm one of 5. A second one is I was very, very lucky and fortunate to find my purpose at a young age. And my thorn is I was very fortunate to find my purpose at a young age. So I'm usually the youngest person in the room, but it all works in my favor.
Okay, so for those that don't know what OnDecker is, tell us a little bit about what the agency is and how it started.
Yeah, so OnDecker, the term itself means a human humble God, unaware of their powers. Someone who can help and doesn't expect much in return, someone who just really is an all-around good person. And I think that's something that I strive to be, something that I try to inspire others to do. So that's basically the mission and the purpose of the agency. And with that being our name and our mission, we've reached out to different athletes in all different sports, and we've been able to bring their journeys to life. Athletes, their platforms are crazy, right? They've got millions of followers on social media, people wondering what clothes they're wearing, doing all these things. And I wanted to use that influence for something good. So I was able to start connecting with someone like Adebayo from the Miami Heat, someone like Mookie from the Dodgers, and just understand their upbringing and how we can inspire other people who look just like them and have been through what they've been through, but make that journey a little less stressful than what they've been through.
Now, where did that come from, though? Like, what initiated you to even start an agency besides the athlete part of it?
Yeah, well, I grew up playing sports.
Okay.
So I knew that I always wanted to be around sports. I played soccer most of my life, but I just realized, again, like I said, their influence, and I always wanted to do good. As of a young age, learned I had mentors as a young age. I had people ask me like, hey, how can I help you? Mm-hmm. And they saw something in me, and it wasn't anything extraordinary. They just saw that I wanted to make this world a happier place and to just understand that by having faith and being a good person, you can push forward. And who's going to listen to me? Not that many people, but if we've got Bam telling you, hey, let me help you out, and giving kids hope, it changes their entire projectile.
Now, growing up, you said you were an athlete and you did a lot of sports. Now, did anything happen in your life for you to say, okay, now it's the right time to go and take the leap and start OnDecker?
Yeah, I think when I was in high school, I grew up very fortunate. My mom was a single mom, did everything that she needed to do for us. And when she experienced financial hardships, just like so many people did in 2009. And at that moment, we had to make a lot of adjustments. It wasn't the same traveling. It wasn't the same luxuries that we were used to. And I had a family come to me and say, hey, I know you guys are going through financial struggles, and I know that things look different from what they used to, but I want to let you know that I have your back if you ever need anything. And that moment just always played in my mind, and still to today, it's my best friend's mom that did that. And so I remember that hope. I remember that feeling of someone had my back and she didn't need to. Yeah. And I knew that I wanted to let people have that same feeling. People that I've never met before, people that have never seen me. I wanted to inspire them to know that there are good people in this world, mm-hmm. and that there's people that are going to have your back just because.
Right.
So
when you're in the room with these people, because you mentioned you're usually the youngest one, like you're in the philanthropy rooms, you're in the sports rooms, two different worlds, right? But they still have very powerful people in each of those rooms. What do you go in as a woman, you go in as a Latina, you go in as a young woman. So how do you battle that and not let it kind of shake you to not enter the room at all? Because clearly you've done well with yourself so far.
You've got to believe that you belong. And growing up with these mentors, they always put me in the right places. They put me in the right rooms, and they always reminded me, you belong here. You know, you were just as intelligent. You have this vision, you have this goal, you have these things that you can accomplish. Like, don't be scared. And that's not to say I never was scared. I sometimes was like, actually, I think I'm feeling a little sick today. I'm not going to that. And I'd opt out.
Have a fever.
Yeah. You guys don't feel it? But it took a while to feel comfortable and to know, again, being a woman and going into these rooms and having to have this sports knowledge, Someone will ask me, well, what year was he drafted? And I can answer right off the bat. Well, what college did he go to? I can answer right off the bat. There's a lot of these questions that are a male-dominated world, but I was able to find this space in the sports industry that had a soft emotional spot that I felt like a woman needed to lead.
What do you think so far has been your most impactful project that you've done? That you're like, I don't know if it did what it needed to do, or I don't know if it was with like the person that maybe other people may aspire, but this touched my heart.
Yeah, we recently in this last summer with BAM, we went to Nicholas Children's Hospital, which is one of the world's leading hospitals for children care. And we were able to see a kid that during COVID we had met, and all he wanted to do was meet BAM. And we became obsessed with his story. But we saw him, he was in the hospital for cancer. He wasn't expected to live. They had given him a time, 6 months. And we just really, really made an effort to always be there, always be there. 2 years fast forward, he's still with us today. And we were able to take him back to the hospital, to other people that were going through the same thing, and share that story. And BAM was able to step back and see, like, wow, I inspired this guy to keep pushing and to keep fighting. And in return, his efforts inspired all these other kids to be strong. And we call it Michael Strong.
That's amazing. That's beautiful. And aside that story, would you say that there is something you've been wanting to do that you haven't done yet? That's like, when I check this one off the list, it's going to be like,
yeah, until it's always that until you get there, and then you come up with a bigger dream and a bigger one, right? My goal was to sign a top athlete that can impact the whole community by building a school. We haven't gotten there yet, but now we're starting to change classrooms, right? We're starting to go into these classrooms and say, I think this space needs a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We're surprising graduating classes that with brand new wardrobe, new furniture for their college experience, and it's things that I could have never imagined doing because you need the help of an entire village.
Right.
And corporations and businesses are starting to see how impactful these movements are, and they're getting behind this.
When you started, though, what were some hardships that you were facing with people not understanding the importance of this?
Oh, that was probably what I experienced the most from my family, from my friends, from my peers. I started this about 8 years ago now. In August, it'll be 8 years. And no one understood where this was going. They're just like, are you going around and just doing random acts of kindness? Like, I don't understand where this vision is. And I said, the world needs to remember this hope. So I think that my biggest struggle was always showing that being a kind person gets you a lot further in life. And we know the saying, you get a lot more bees with honey, right? And I think it's true. Yeah. I still to today have to continue to remind people, like, just be nice. Right. Don't care. Don't matter. It doesn't matter how someone else acts. It doesn't matter if they were nice to you, if they weren't. Don't change who you are. And who we are at the core are good people. We know what's right and what's wrong. Yeah. It's easy to do the right decision. It's hard to not. Right. But obviously life is life, and there are ups and downs, and it makes you sad and cynical, and you stop believing. But you always got to believe. And I think that perseverance and me continue to thread the needle for 7 to 8 years. And, I have people that come up to me today and they're like, I get it. It makes sense.
Right.
I got it.
Now, what would you say, because being kind is such a beautiful thing, doing what you do is such a beautiful thing, but it can be debilitating and it can be draining at times. So what is your regimen to bring yourself back to yourself? Because you're constantly giving yourself out to so many different people, companies, athletes, to be of service to them. That's your job.
Yep. A lot of self-care. I see a therapist regularly, and
therapy is great. Therapy is amazing. I recommend everybody therapy.
Yeah, I do. And it's just sometimes fun to go in there and talk with someone who doesn't really know who I am, but just listens, and she loves my stories, and she's constantly like, wow, that's so cool, and she hears all of it, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of that stuff. Working out, try to just stay working out. But really, I think when you are aligned in doing what you feel your purpose is, and I truly feel this is my purpose. I feel like I come and bring people together and just bring good experiences and good energy and just like, hey, let's just forget about all of this terrible. Let's have hope right here. And the more people we can bring together for that, like, creates this energy. But I think making sure that you're doing things that you feel aligned with and that you feel fill your cup, and fulfill your purpose.
Is there ever a time where you wanted to walk away from it?
So the agency represents different organizations, right? So we have, and I've had to walk away from ones that just pull on my heartstrings way too much. And I realized after, wow, I needed to let that go.
Right.
That was holding me, and I was doing more of a disservice than I was doing it any good.
That's beautiful. Now, what would you say 15-year-old Victoria would think about you, like, at this age doing this now?
Oh, 15-year-old Victoria would be very confused. She thought that she was going to be in law school, fighting.
I mean, you are good at debating sometimes, so I see that.
I stayed true to that, but 15-year-old Victoria thought that she was going to be a professional athlete or in law school. But some things have stayed true. I always knew I wanted to be a provider. I always knew that my mom was a provider. Again, single mom, 5 kids, had the best of everything. She's a badass. And so that stayed true. I knew that I wanted to provide, and I wanted to provide these emotions, these experiences. Mm-hmm. And then now it's just kind of like paving the way and just filling the blueprint.
That's beautiful. Now, would you say that where you are today with OnDecker is exactly where you want to be? And where do you see it being in 5 years from now?
That's a trick question. I think I'm in the right place. I want more. I always want more because I feel like I could do more. I don't go to sleep exhausted every single night. Okay. So I want to do more. But I do think that we're at the right place in the right time, and really just making sure that we aren't ahead of ourselves and we're doing the foundations that we are taking on and representing, that we're doing them a service and we're really giving them everything that we possibly have. It's not only me at the agency. We have an amazing team. I have an amazing team behind me that holds me accountable, and they check in with me. So I want to scale. I want to grow. I want to make
Do you want it to stay only in sports?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I think that there's something really, really unique about the individuals that have made it to that level. If you think about basketball, there's 450 individuals that play in the NBA every year. Only 450.
Oh, yeah.
NFL, you've got about 56 people per team. And I just think that there's something special about what gets you to that level. And that passion and that drive that these guys hold, and these women as well. Mm-hmm. And I'm so excited to break into the women's sports world, but it takes something really special. And discipline, and it takes seeing something throughout your life, and it's a vision that you can share with other people. And I want to continue to highlight that.
I know you have a really close relationship with Bam, so what made you want to work with him?
Bam's incredible. He is the golden standard for this. He truly, I don't think that there's any other rookie in the NBA that had a foundation from their rookie year. Rookie year, you're not making millions of dollars. So you're not thinking about giving the money that you have just made, especially Bam's story. And if you don't know much about it, he grew up in a trailer park. He, single mom, worked really, really, really hard. He had a great team around him that still today is his manager, Kevin Graves. And he knew. He was just that guy. He understood that he had gotten so much help growing up that he knew he had to pay it back. And that was a part of his, and it is a part of his journey. I got introduced to him, and I didn't go and meet with his team. I met with him. And he was like, I want to know what's up. I want to know what your vision is. How can you help me help more? And it was almost a starstruck moment without a superstar at the time. Today, he's a superstar. At the time, and it was so nice to realize that there was someone that I can build with that had the same vision as me.
That trusted you from the beginning.
And that was incredible. That trusted me and that really took a chance on me, Even this year in Utah, NBA All-Star, second time he's making it to the NBA All-Star, and he texts me as soon as the decision was made, and he's like, Utah with 100 exclamation points. I was actually here in LA when this happened. I might have even been with you, I think. Yeah. And he's like, Utah, here we come. And next thing we know, we're in Utah. And he's making sure that anywhere that he's going, I'm there with him. Because he's like, you belong. And I care about my community. So anyone that I'm meeting along this path, you should probably be meeting as well.
And it's so beautiful to be able to have not only an athlete, but a man, and a man in a male-dominated world give you such an affirmation of you belong.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
It's validating.
Yeah.
It's that aha moment of when all these people are telling me, what is it that you're doing? Do you think that this is going to go where you think it is? And those little moments where someone like Bam's like, yeah, whatever you need. I text him, hey, I need you to post this. I need you to do this. Let's support this. He's like, sure. Hey, I need you to, let's go and surprise. Do you have the day off? Let's go surprise a graduating class with a shopping spree to Nike.
Yeah.
Just for no reason. And he's like, let's not post about it. Let's just go do it.
Yeah.
Those things are just your aha moments where it's like, I want to meet more people like you. And Mookie Betts is exactly like that. Him and his wife are incredible, and it's working alongside individuals like that, like those two guys, that just make it a reality. I'm not crazy for trying to do these things. These guys see it as well, and they want to do it.
And it also is the upside of other people, whether they're saying it or not, or giving you the look when you're in those rooms that are like, why are you here?
100%.
You don't belong here. Do you see how you look? You're this little pretty girl. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Wants to do a little nice thing. Cute.
It's funny because that's a lot of times someone's like, how did you end up here? Like, what happened to you? NBA All-Star again, we are going to a location, only 30 people are there, and it's Kyrie Irving's private party. Is just like hanging out with his friends, and it's like, wait, how did you end up here? It's like, because these people care about the community, and these people, those are the conversations that they want to have, and we have these conversations. We talk about what more can we do. Get it? You could go to the gym, you go to the court and train and shoot and do all these things, but really, what is your legacy?
Or you could also go to the private schools and but it's like you're not choosing that. You're like, who actually needs it?
100%. We want to go to the community that look like these athletes that are the faces of these foundations. We want to go and help those people. I don't think that just because you go to a private school, you go to a public school, you don't understand hardship or you haven't been through it. Most certainly, and we acknowledge that as well. But we really want to dive directly into the community and be in those places that want to uplift and have hope and just be their sunshine and know that we have their back. And if you listen to any of the work that we've done, any of our past things, it's always that, like, count on us, call us. You need something, call me.
Did you grow up seeing anything, whether it was a specific mentor, whether it was like a situation that you saw kindness, that instilled this want to do kindness constantly?
Yeah. Again, my best friend's mom, she owns a clothing company, Peace Love World. Peace, love, world.
Yeah.
You know, it's just always just so, I am love, I am blessed, all these affirmations of just beautiful words that really uplift and upbring. And and again, that was one of my mentors and someone at such an early age that came to me, but also one of my mentors to today. She won Philanthropist of the Year. And when we went and she built a building at a local school in Miami, and these kids are crying and they're so grateful. And this school's not theirs, but it's a place that they can go and it'll help them.
Yeah.
And they recognize that and they understand that. And I became obsessed with wanting to deliver emotions and feelings. And you know me, like
we literally, when she's like, oh, you're going to plan a friend's birthday and it's a mutual friend. Okay, I'm going to plan a better dinner. I'm like, no, I'm going to plan a better dinner. No, I'm going to be more detailed.
But then we come together and we make it together. And it's really, really, like I said, it's nice to pass love around. So I've had incredible, and again, I as much as these mentors, my mom was an example of it. No matter how long she worked, how hard she worked, what she was doing, she always had a smile on her face. And she'd give me some lip sometimes and tell me some things, but my mom is the core of definitely everything I do, and my siblings the same.
Would you say, and you can tell me if this is too personal, but would you say working on kindness and having a career that is based on kindness is easy for you because you're a positive person, or do you have to constantly bring yourself back to remind yourself?
Well, I think that's what I add to this kindness world, right? When you think of kindness, everyone's like, there's no way someone can be kind all the time, because there's a misconception. That doesn't mean I don't get mad. That doesn't mean I don't get upset. That doesn't mean that I don't lash out sometimes or curse or
deal with depression, anxiety, all this stuff.
All of these things. I've all across the board. I've dealt with it myself. I've dealt with it within my family. Like, I see it, but I'm also a big person. I'm a big believer of God, and with God you can do anything. So that's always my light at the end of the tunnel. So it's like, I'm mad right now. I just lost my bracelet, or something, but okay, that's fine.
That was very Kim Kardashian of you. You lost your bracelet.
It's actually
in
a true
Fiji.
story. I did lose my bracelet. My sister-in-law lost my bracelet, and then she dropped it at Fresh Market, a grocery store, and the manager tracked her down to give her back this bracelet.
That's hilarious.
And kindness.
A little Kim Kardashian moment, but it's okay. It's kindness.
It's kindness.
So now, with everything that you've done and the amount of athletes you worked with, the amount of projects you've done, the kindness that you've spread around the world and success, what does ultimately success mean to you at your core? And do you feel like you've achieved it yet?
I think success is always like raising the bar, right? You can feel that you've had some accomplishments, but I don't think I think successful is ongoing. It's something that you are. It's almost like happiness. Like, I am this. It's something that you got to keep working on. I think success to me, I love knowing the fact, or hoping for the fact, that when I come across people, they know that my intentions are pure. I went to go see Oprah one time, and she said,
Light flex.
She said, again, with my best friend's mom. She was putting together the Oprah tour.
Love that best friend.
Right?
And the mom.
But she said, doesn't matter the outcome. It's all about the intention, right? So you go in and your intentions are pure, but the outcome just really doesn't work in your favor. And it doesn't mean you're going to be upset. You know what your intentions were. And I pray and I hope, and my success is that I always have good intentions, and that people understand that my intentions are always good. It might not work out in your favor. So you might still be mad at me, but my intentions were pure, and I thought I was coming from a good place, or I always am coming from a good place. And that to me is my success, along with all the other great things that I have. But that's ultimately it. Yeah.
Good. Well, thank you, Victoria, so much for sharing everything with us and being a part of this. It was such a great time to talk to you. And if anybody wants to find you, find about the company, where can they look?
They can look, get to know BAM's foundation, get to know Mookie's foundation. You can go to their Instagram. They have it in their bio. Mookie Betts is the 50/50 Foundation. BAM Adebayo is BBB Foundation. And then my agency itself, OnDecker. You can find that on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for MySpace. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to follow us on social media on LATV Latina and catch up on our latest episodes on LATV Plus app. We'll see you next time on LATV Latina Exclusives. Bye.